All right, okay. In the month of May, actually, it's July, I believe, but setting that aside, family wanted to record a quick video to share some, well, we'll see how quick it is, to share some new developments in my understanding of integration and surrender, my relationship to integration and surrender. This is going really deep for me right now. Yesterday was quite a profound day. More on that in a moment. I feel like the most clear and concise way I can share this is to read part of an blog post I just published. So I'm going to do that. Go into my Substack, one of my Substacks here, simplefreedom.substack.com. My main Substack is jordanbates.substack.com. And I just published this, a new understanding of integration. And yeah, let's just start reading here. So, dear family, some fascinating stuff has been happening in my process. I'm going to share three recent pieces of writing that illustrate these developments, illuminating an evolution in my understanding of integration. Number one, I seem to be experiencing a deep shift. The simplest way to put it is shifting from trying to, quote, integrate all parts and be all of me to giving it all to the fires of Christ's love, offering it all to the inferno of God, to the waters of life, without being attached to any of it needing to stick around or integrate, and trusting that God's fire knows much better than me what to dissolve, what to integrate, what to transfigure, and so forth. God knows better than me what is relevant and important for my vessel in this lifetime. And quick note here, if you don't resonate with the words Christ or God, you can replace them with divine presence, presence of life, all pervading being, uh, supreme source, omnipresence. This right here, right now, this presence is what's being referred to. There is a deepening realization that I fully trust the North Star of superpersonal Christic love. Christ is my North Star, and I can surrender my process to Him. And therefore, the most direct and efficient way to work with all parts and energies is simply to give them to the Christ fire of God's love. This approach may also be valuable for others and need not center on Christ. Whatever suprapersonal face of divinity or emanation of divine love you most deeply resonate with could be worked with in this way, or simply nameless supreme source. Blessings. Artwork I created there with Midjourney of the all-devouring Christ fire. Number two, um, so I wrote this yesterday. Truly an incredible day. I received a transcendent healing experience. It began with an intentional cannabis ceremony barefoot in nature. Then I walked to Sauna Village, an amazing German healing center. Once there, I began praying intently while laying in the sauna and taking a cold shower. Then, when I entered the ice bath, I slipped into a samadhi-like experience reminiscent of Bufo Alvarius 5-MeO DMT. I was merging with the Christ light. I then began spontaneously hearing slash repeating a mantra, deepest dungeons receiving Christ's water. I repeated this many, many times and witnessed the waters of life pouring into the most exiled deserts and dungeons within the collective psyche and personal psyche. I saw deserts blossoming into gardens and witnessed a long exiled prisoner in chains freed from bondage after eons of torment. I nearly passed out due to the total immersion in light, then got out, sat in sublime meditation for a while, then went outside where I did naked yoga in the sun while witnessing a pond and small waterfall. I meditated further, and spontaneous prayers and mantras continued to come over the next hours as I intuitively offered my total body to the heavenly and Gaian Christ. Various other benedictions and mystical experiences occurred as I surrendered to another round of sauna and ice bath. I spent a long time prayerfully sending Christ's love to many specific family members, friends, and to all beings in all worlds. I felt ancient karmic coagulations unraveling and pouring down from my root, spiraling into the Gaian body to be metabolized and recycled. It felt like one of the deepest personal and collective healing experiences that has ever occurred through/as my vessel and field. I am tremendously thankful. The divine suprapersonal omnipresence of Christ is with you always as your own heart and immediate field of awareness. Be still and relinquish all knowledge, lowercase knowledge, in order to rest as pure knowledge, uppercase knowledge. Rest as pure knowledge. Be still and relinquish all knowledge in order to rest as pure knowledge. Offer all to the Offer all to the divine blazing presence of now, and you will be shown your true home and true self as love. Offer all to the divine blazing presence of now, and you will be shown your true home and true self as love. Depiction of the waters of life. And finally, part 3, I wrote these words today as part of a longer piece. God's surrender massively simplifies things. Essentially, you just give everything to God. Give everything to the omnipresent Christ fire. Give everything to divine presence. Again, if the words God or Christ don't resonate, you can simply conceive of this as giving everything to the ever-present fire of pure presence. Literally, any thought or energy or experience or emotion or idea or decision or seeming contradiction can be surrendered to the immediate field of Christ's fire. This is similar to what David Hawkins described in his book, Letting Go. The simplicity and elegance of this technique are dawning on me anew. What you can begin to realize is that your life is taking place in/as an infinite presence of loving intelligence. This intelligence, what I call Christ fire and many other names, knows much better than you what to integrate, what to dissolve, what to balance out, and generally how to best align and harmonize your being in the way that is most karmically resonant and auspicious for you in your current incarnation. So you can just give everything to the field itself. What this actually looks like in practice is essentially attuning yourself to the silent field of pure presence that is always with you, within and beyond all words, thoughts, or phenomena. Through experimentation, you discover the highly personal openings or access points that reliably work for you, and you then regularly, meditatively, prayerfully attune yourself to the silent presence. And you simply offer everything to this silent presence. You access its inmost flame as purely as you can in any given moment, and you devotionally offer your total body to this presence. You let anything and everything slip away into its fire. It's okay if you don't feel ready to engage in this level of devotional surrender. You can begin by experimenting with simply surrendering a few thoughts or sensations to see how it feels. Yet, in my experience, the more you become willing to consecrate your total self as a devotional offering to the beloved, you will be brought into an integrative furnace of love. The omnipresence will simply begin washing away what is not auspicious and will reharmonize and align your being on deep levels spontaneously and automagically. You don't need to figure out your precise balance of Christianity versus New Ageism or any other sort of balance of various wisdom streams. God already knows what your perfect balance is. So you can simply give it all to God, you see. Give it all to whichever superpersonal face of divine presence grace most deeply resonates with you. They're all emanations of the same light of the forever beyond. Give it all to Christ. Christ knows what to do with it. A key part of this realization recently for me has been the dawning understanding that I don't need to, quote, integrate all parts in the sense that I don't need every aspect of creation to somehow become infused in the way I express as a being in this lifetime. The field, our deepest self, has already integrated all parts. The Christ fire has already integrated all parts. It is already perfect wholeness, perfect knowledge, perfect intelligence. In a sense, it has no parts because it's also seamlessly one. In that sense, we've already integrated everything. When we surrender to that which is already perfect wholeness, it naturally knows what is most auspicious for us to embody and express in our current incarnation. It naturally washes away that which we need not embody or express any longer in this lifetime. For years, I had been maintaining a subtle attachment to an elaborate project of, quote, integrating all parts, not wanting to reject any aspect of my being. In a sense, this was an honorable and important stage, yet I'm now seeing that a more expedient, simple, and surrendered pathway of integration is available. Ceasing to attach to anything or try to figure it out, and instead simply pouring all of it into the fire of presence. The fire knows, the ocean knows. I can just give it all to that. I can allow that to slurp me up entirely, and I can fully trust what emerges on the other side. On a deep level, I've already known this, having gone through many death and rebirth processes, yet I suppose it's now sinking in on a deeper level. All of the inner drama of my pet self-work projects can simply be dumped into the roaring blaze. The roaring blaze is all that is needed. It is hilarious how this maximally simplifies everything down to one single-pointed movement. One clear single-pointed movement. Just give it all to the fire, Jordan. You are increasingly ready to give it all to the fire. Anything and everything that arises, all samskaric or karmic residues, can simply be offered to the blaze. Ha! Hallelujah. All right, so I'd say that pretty well articulates what I wanted to articulate. Hopefully, the message landed. Hopefully, it came across. Essentially, it feels like just a new level of relinquishing any attempt to kind of control or manage my process or kind of orchestrate my own integration process or, you know, juggle a bunch of different parts and archetypes and try to consciously or manually kind of figure out how those fit in. Um, Not that I was doing that to a great extent, but I think there were subtle residues of that, which are now being surrendered as I come into a more palpable feeling of just this omnipresent roaring blaze of the field itself, the Christ light itself, the God light, the life force which animates and permeates and suffuses all things. And it's just kind of clicking on a new level that, if I want to, if I think it's fun and entertaining, I can engage in mental masturbation about various projects of integration or personal development or various other things in my life. But it feels like I'm increasingly ready to do less of that and just increasingly just give it all to the presence. Just really let the presence subsume my experience more and more fully. In a profound sense, it's already entirely subsumed. There's nothing but the presence. Yet, in another paradoxical sense, there's a way in which we become increasingly transparent to the presence. We let it in more and more fully. It sinks in more and more deeply down through our our crown, through our head, down the heart, down to the belly, down into the root. It gradually reformats our body and our being. And yeah, I'm just feeling this level of receptivity, openness, where it feels really welcome. It feels like a welcome respite from the complexity of the world and life to just boil it all down to that one simple movement. Whatever is arising, give it all to the presence. Give it all to the fires of presence. Essentially, just access the purest presence you can access in any moment and allow that to vaporize confusion, allow it to melt whatever is ready to be melted, integrate whatever needs to be integrated, align whatever needs to be aligned. Essentially, it's like a holistic, all synthesizing, infinite field of intelligence that knows much better than you what to do. So the more you can just access that and allow yourself to be subsumed by that. It sort of feels like melting into it or allowing it to come to the forefront, you know? It's like I always have this background knowingness that this field of infinite presence, this roaring blaze of Christ fire is always there. But increasingly, I'm just feeling more called. I'm going through a stage where I am just allowing that to come more to the forefront again. You know, I go through phases back and forth with this type of thing. And presently, it's just feeling really good to let that roaring blaze come to the forefront and just feel how it just vaporizes thoughts. It vaporizes confusion. It harmonizes, it distills, it melts away what's ready to be melted away. So that's about the clearest I can put it in this moment. Invite the roaring blaze of pure presence to be with you if you feel called to that, if you feel called to that simplicity and that level of devotional surrender. It may be it may be something beautiful to play with. So yeah, hopefully this is valuable for you, for somebody out there. Thank you for listening, receiving. You're beautiful. I love you. Take care. Peace.